happy Thursday. Today we are going to be going over the May 21st portion of the distance learning packet, where for reading, you are going to read for 15 minutes. Again, you can use a book you have at home, a foldable from the back of the packet, or if you find a really good online resource, that will also count for reading for 15 minutes. Today we're going to revisit the article From Pine Tree to Pizza Box, where you're going to read the rest of the text aloud, and then you're going to conduct a home search for recycled cardboard items that you use every day. So think of your daily task that you do from the time you get up, your schedule from the time you get up till the time you go to bed. What items do you use that may contain cardboard? Maybe a cereal box, maybe you bought something that got shipped to your house. So do a home search for any recycled cardboard items that you might use every day. For writing, it looks like we're going to have a free write where you get to draw a picture and then write about a topic of your choice. For grammar and spelling, we're going to have a schwa worksheet, and then we're going to end with some math, where we're going to have a math task, and then a little bit of procedural practice. So let's go ahead and get started. After you've already read for 15 minutes, you're going to read the remainder of that article From Pine Tree to Pizza Box. What little bit is left there. And after you are done with that, you're going to do some writing. Here's your writing prompt. It's a free write. So again, you get to draw and write about a topic of your choice. Remembering when you're writing to start each sentence with a capital letter and end each sentence with punctuation. If you are writing a story, just remember you're going to include characters. That's who's in the story. The setting, that's where the story happens. And include lots of adjectives to describe the characters and settings. So remember we had a spelling worksheet that talked about adjectives. Adjectives are what describes the noun. So we have a person, place, or thing. An adjective describes it. Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it colorful? Use lots of those because it makes your story come to life. Okay, after writing, we have our spelling and grammar worksheet where we're working on schwas. And a schwa is a short vowel sound that gives the sound in a word. So if you look at the words here, we have again. You hear the that's where that schwa sound is coming in. Alone, away, about, awake, ago, alike, above, along, and ahead. And they've given us some sentences here, and we're going to circle the spelling word that best completes each sentence, and then you're going to write it on the line. So we're going to circle it, or choose the best one, circle it, and then write it on that line. All right, so let's go ahead and start with number 1. We have 7. I'm going to go through 3 of them with you today. And then have you try a little bit on your own. Number 1, I went to the museum a few years ago or a few years about. I think that a few years ago sounds a little bit better than about. It makes sense. It looks right. So I think we're on the right path there. And then we're going to move on to number 2. I'd like to visit the museum along. That doesn't really sound right. Let's plug in again and see if that works. I'd like to visit the museum again. There we go. That one sounds much better. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to circle again. And then they want us to write that on the line. So I write again. Let's go through one more together. I don't want to go to the museum alike. Doesn't really make sense. So let's try it with the next word. I don't want to go to the museum alone. That sounds a lot better, so I'm going to circle alone. And then, following the directions, I'm going to write that on the line. So I want you to do 4 through 7 on your own. Remember, just plug those words into each sentence, and you're circling the one that makes sense. Okay, that best completes that sentence. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and I will help you with those remaining 4. Otherwise, we are going to move on to our math today, where we have a little bit of math task. We've been going over multi-digit subtraction. So it looks like we have a little word problem here, so let's get started. A store had 472 bouncy balls. They sold 155. How many bouncy balls were left? If you notice here, I underlined how many bouncy balls were left because that word, the 2 words were left, is letting us know that they took some away. And when you take something away, we know we're going to subtract, and we're looking for the difference. I took our numbers from our word problem, and I lined them up based on their place value, lining up the ones with the ones, the tens with the tens, and the hundreds with the hundreds. So let's go ahead and subtract. Remembering those three rules, we start with the ones column, and then we move on to the tens column, and then we end with the hundreds column. So we start right and we work our way left. All right, let's start with the ones. We have 2 minus 5. If you have 2 of something, can you take 5 away? No, you can't, so we're going to need to regroup. And in order to regroup, we're going to have to borrow from our neighbor. So we're going to borrow from the 7. That 7 then is going to become a 6. And then we're going to take that 10 that we borrowed and move him to his new home there in the ones column. And he's going to become a 12. So now we have 12 of something. Can we take 5 away? Yes, we can. So 12 minus 5, if you put 5 in your head and then you count up on your fingers till 12, that's going to let us know the difference. So 5 in our head, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Stop. We have 7. 7 is the difference. Okay, that is step 1. Now we're moving on to step 2, where we are going to focus on that tens column. We have 6 of something. Can we take 5 away? 6 is greater than 5, so we can indeed take 5 away. If you have 6 and you take 5, you are left with 1. That third and final step in our multi-digit subtraction problem, we're going to end with the hundreds column, where we have 4 and we're taking 1 away. 4 is greater than 1, so no need to borrow. You have 4, you take 1 away, we are left with 3. So we know they have 317 bouncy balls left. All right, let's go ahead. We have a little bit of procedural practice where we're going to be doing the same thing. I've already filled these in for you. I'm just going to walk you through them. We had 835 minus 216, where if we followed the rules and we started with the ones column, you had 5 minus 6. 5 is less than 6, so we know we needed to borrow. So we went next door to the tens and borrowed from the 3. The 3 became a 2, and the 5 became a 15, allowing us to subtract. 15 minus 6 is 9. That completed step 1. Moving over to step 2, where we're going to focus on the tens column, we have 2 minus 1. 2 is greater than 1, so we know that we can make that happen. If you have 2 of something and you take 1 away, you are left with 1. Moving us on to our third and final step, where we are going to focus on the hundreds column. If you have 8 of something and you take 2 away, you are left with 6. So we know that 835 minus 216 is 619. And then moving on to number 2, we are going to find the difference of 952 and 637. All right, starting with those 3 steps again. Step 1, focusing on the ones column. If you have 2 of something, can you take 7 away? No, you can't. So that's where we needed to, again, borrow from the tens. When we borrowed from the tens, we crossed out the 5. That became a 4 because we're going to take that 1 we borrow over to the ones column. And that's going to allow the 2 to become a 12. So if you have 12 of something and you take 7 away, there is 5 left. Completing that step 1, now we can move on to step 2, which is focusing on that tens column, where now we have 4 minus 3. 4 is greater than 3, so we can make that happen. If you have 4 of something and you take 3 away, you are left with 1. Now we have that third and final step in number 2, where we are going to subtract our hundreds column. We have 9 minus 6. If you have 9 of something and you take 6 away, we are left with 3. So the difference of 952 and 637 is 315. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the next slide, where we have a little bit more of procedural practice. I'm going to go over a few of these with you, but I am going to want you to try some on your own. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3. Again, we are just starting with the ones, and then following those steps, we're working our way over. So we'll start with the ones column. 3 minus 4. 3 is less than 4, so we know we are going to need to borrow to make that happen. So I'm going to borrow from the 5. The 5 is going to become a 4, and that is going to allow our 3 to become a 13. Okay, and if we have 13 and we take away 4, we are left with 9. So that's complete step 1. So moving on to step 2, where we're going to focus on the tens column. We have 4 and we're taking away 4. We can make that happen because they are equal to each other. So if you have 4 of something, you take 4 away, you are left with nothing. Okay, and then we can complete the third and final step, which is the hundreds column. We have 1 and we're going to take away nothing, because there's nothing there to take away, so we're just going to bring that 1 down. And we know that 153 minus 44 is 109. Okay, I'm going to go over number 6 with you because it does look a little bit different. It's set up a little different. It is still lined up based on the place value. They just do not have the fancy lines on it, but the steps are still the same. So no problem, I will walk you through it. We have 153 minus 47. Always starting with that ones column. Notice here too, there is no hundreds, and that is okay. We lined up the tens with the tens and the ones with the ones. Okay, we have 3 minus 7. We can't make that happen because 3 is less than 7, so we are going to need to regroup. So the 5 is going to become a 4, and then that 3 is going to become a 13 because we borrowed a 10 from it. A 10 from the tens column. All right, so 13 minus 7, if you put 7 in your head and count on your fingers up to 13, you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, stop. And you are going to have 6. You should have 6. Okay, and now that is step 1. We are moving on to step 2, where we are going to subtract 4 minus 4. And if you have 4 of something and you take 4 away, you are left with nothing. So we know that is a 0. Okay, and then the third and final step, we have 1 and there is nothing to take away there. So we're just going to bring that 1 down. So we know that 153 minus 47 is 106. I am going to want you to try 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 on your own. But as always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me either on class tag or leaving me a message in the comment section below. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and we will talk very soon. Goodbye.